Hey y'all, welcome back to the party. It's me, your girl britTREACTS, and today we're going to react to the second half of the first part of Chat History's truly evil human experiments that actually happened. I kind of crashed out. I'm not even going to lie to you. It was a lot for me. My husband called and I took that as divine timing to just cut the video, but enough of you said that you wanted to see me react to the other half, including the Chat History page. They dropped a comment and said they wanted to see it, so here we are.
You are now tuned into britTREACTS.
We left off right here with poison and Flintstone vitamins and other things.
For me, if it isn't an orange Flintstone vitamin,
See?
I don't trust it. The various poisons tested included ricin, which causes severe internal distress and suffering, cyanide, which can cause violent seizures and heart attacks, and curare, a potent muscle relaxant that makes you painfully choke to death. In the end, the tests were pretty successful. For the Soviet Union, not for the prisoners. Research led to innovative ways to discreetly dispatch a target, from deploying a cyanide mist to making an assassination look like a heart attack.
Jesus.
But the blue ribbon winner was the concoction known as C2,
This is where
carbolamine
we stopped, by the
choline
way.
chloride, which was basically liquid depression. Exposure to
Listen, this stupid update on YouTube gets me every time. This is chemistry. This is a no-no for me. This makes my brain hurt.
carbolamine choline chloride, which was basically liquid depression.
chloride.
Exposure to this sucker sparked a very curious reaction. Instead of a violent telltale "I've been poisoned" type death,
Oh, right, they
the
just
victim would
kinda
simply
like-
become weak with a
Yeah, I
rapid
remember
decline in
this.
health,
Okay.
all while maintaining a calm and silent demeanor. Death occurred within 15 minutes.
Wait, did we
Since
watch that part? I don't think we watched that part. Why am I saying, did we watch that part? Maybe I don't know. Why does that feel familiar to me? I just feel like I've seen, it's his little body. Because it's like little stubby arms and feet. Feels familiar to me, and his little, like he needs a bra.
calm and silent demeanor. Death occurred within 15 minutes.
Jesus.
Since the dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991, Russian officials have claimed that the Kamera has been disestablished and abandoned.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, sure.
The Kamera's disestablished.
Now, sure.
Did that say syphilis? This one might piss me off, because what do you mean? What do you mean Guatemalan syphilis experiment? What do you mean? What do you mean? Why are we experimenting with, what do you mean? The music.
Now, you may have heard about the Tuskegee syphilis study, which was an
No.
unethical medical study funded by the United States Public Health Service in
I know Tuskegee. Is that Tuskegee? No, not the same. Okay.
study, which was an unethical medical study funded by the United States Public Health Service in 1932, which involved the study of nearly 400 African American men who had naturally contracted syphilis. The goal was to observe the effects of the disease when left untreated in African American males. Even though penicillin, an antibiotic cure for
Existed?
syphilis, eventually became widely available to the public, the afflicted men were intentionally never cured. Fucked up, right? Well, the US decided to outdo themselves with the Guatemalan syphilis experiment. In 1946 to 1948, more than 5,500 Guatemalan natives, including children, were involved in the experiment against their will.
You had me at children. I'm clocking out. In 2 years, y'all infected 5,500 people, and that number is probably lower than the real number, including children. The bar for hell gets lower and lower every day. Every day. Every day. It's free admission at this point. Are you kidding me?
With the Guatemalan government granting access to the unwilling patients in hospitals, mental institutions, and even orphanages. Around 1,300 relatively healthy individuals ages 10 to 72 were intentionally infected with syphilis and even gonorrhea. Transmission was either done by direct bacterial contact into wounds or by sexual transmission with infected native sex workers, which were funded by the US government, by the way. The latter of which proved to be a very effective method of infection. The guy in charge of these experiments was Dr.
him.
John C.
Sinister. Look at him. Look at him. Handsome as all get out. Look at that.
Cutler, but you can call him Dr. Dickass. He often failed to keep accurate medical records of his experiments and instead would only provide anecdotal evidence in his findings.
Say that?
Probably because he knew what he was doing was unethical, which very much sounds like something only a dickass would do. But all joking aside, the experiments conducted on these people were gruesome. Perhaps one of the most notable documented examples of what these people...
I appreciate you, Chat History Channel, for making me laugh in the middle of this really awful story. I've never heard someone use the phrase Dick A before. Why I didn't censor Dick and censored A, I don't know. I don't like this one. It's pissing me off.
...experienced was about a female patient named Berta. The following is an excerpt from that document. Berta was a female patient in the psychiatric hospital. In February 1948, Berta was injected in her left arm with syphilis. A month later, she developed scabies. Several weeks later, Dr. Cutler noted that she had also developed red bumps where he had injected her arm, lesions on her arms and legs, and her skin was beginning to waste away from her body. Berta was not treated for syphilis until 3 months after her injection. Soon after, on August 23rd, Dr. Cutler wrote that Berta appeared as if she was going to die.
Hell. Go there. Are you joking? Do y'all ever think about the fact that, like, certain restrictions are only put in place after things like this happen? Do y'all ever, does that ever cross your mind? Like seatbelt laws, car seat laws, only after something really awful happened or continues to happen. Like this, the fact that it had to get this bad for there to be some type of like medical code, moral code.
But he did not specify why. That same day, he put gonorrheal pus from another male subject into both of Berta's eyes,
Why?
as well as her private areas. He also
Why?
reinfected her with syphilis. Several days later, Berta's eyes were filled with pus from the gonorrhea, and she was bleeding from her private area.
I'm gonna
3
cry.
days later, on August 27th,
I'm gonna cry. I'm
Berta
gonna cry.
died.
I'm gonna cry.
Told you he was a dick-ass. The overall goal of the study was to determine the effectiveness of penicillin in preventing the STDs.
The overall goal, but penicillin was never administered. Like, what are we this is so inhumane. I'm infuriated. I want to cry. Where's her family? They deserve reparations. In her and then you re-inject her after her skin was already wasting away from her body.
Dr. Cutler had allegedly finalized his reports in 1955, but no evidence was ever found proving that the reports were submitted for peer review or even published. So, out of all of that suffering, nothing of medical value was produced.
He did it for fun.
Though I will say, in some glimmer of fairness, a treatment program was established by the United States and made available to the affected Guatemalan population, but only half were reported to actually have received treatments with a questionable quality of care. United States President Barack Obama formally apologized to the Guatemalan government in 2010, 62 years after
I was literally about to say, like, 60 years later. I mean, thanks.
The study was performed.
60. Oh, Jesus. Unit 730.
Yeah, that last one was quite the doozy, huh? Well, buckle up because it's about to get way worse. See this right here? This is Unit 731. It was home to some of the most notorious and truly evil war crimes committed by the Japanese in World War II, which are definitely up there with some of the worst in the history of mankind.
Oh, God.
Unit 731 served as a lethal human experimentation and biological weapons laboratory during the Second Sino-Japanese War between China and Japan, which ran concurrent to most of the events of World War II. This nightmare facility was established in 1935 in the subprovincial Chinese city of Harbin, 4 years after Japanese forces invaded the Chinese region of Manchuria. Inside, hundreds of thousands of Chinese and even some Russian prisoners of war were subjected to some of the most egregious and horrifying human experimentations known to man. Experiments performed on men, women, and children, which is everyone. Those chosen for experimentation were dehumanized.
Why are y'all doing this to children? Anyone, look at this picture. Jesus Christ. I am unwell. I'm unwell. These are bodies stacked up and tied together in what looks like straw, hay.
And referred to as maruta, or logs, rather than as people, because the cover-up story for Unit 731 was that it was a lumber mill. It should be noted that the vast majority of the experiments in the facility were carried out to fulfill morbid curiosity, with those performing or overseeing the studies described as merely playing. A testimony from a Japanese seeing the studies.
These are children. These are babies. Look at these babies, toddlers.
Described as merely playing.
I'm so
A
angry.
testimony
I'm
from
so
a Japanese
angry.
professor who witnessed the studies was quoted saying that some of the experiments had nothing to do with advancing the capability of germ warfare or of medicine. There is such a thing as professional curiosity. What would happen if we did such and such? What medical purpose was served by performing and studying beheadings? None at all. That was just
They performed beheadings on children.
playing around. Professional people, too, like to play.
Hell.
So basically, experiments were like, I wonder what would happen if we just hucked a grenade at a guy. Bang. Oh, look, he exploded. Hey, can I go home now? No. Gee, I wonder if this large, heavy object will crush this guy. Yup. Will this guy freeze to death if I freeze him to death? Wow, who would have guessed? A lot of these experiments were designed to test the absolute limits of the human body. Tests included depriving victims of food or water to see how long they could survive, placing victims in low-pressure chambers until their eyes popped from their skulls, injecting victims with animal blood, hanging victims upside down until death, or even draining victims of blood just to study blood loss limits. Some victims were even dehydrated in front of large hot fans to the point of mummification. At the time of death, they only weighed 20% of their initial body weight. Perhaps one of the worst examples I've read was the forced pregnancy of female victims. The mothers were injected with various diseases and drugs just to see how they affected the unborn child, sometimes performing a vivisection, cutting the fetus out of the
Chat history for having a soul. Thank you. Thank you. Like, what? Y'all. This is so deeply and wildly disturbing. This is why I had to stop I thought the first half was bad.
Mother for examination. There's honestly so many more gruesome experiments that I just can't get into here. So if you are curious, I would encourage you to look them up. But it's like legit really bad, so you've been warned. By the end of the war, as Soviet forces were closing in, Japanese officials had all remaining prisoners executed and the entirety of Unit 731 hastily demolished to destroy any remaining evidence of the program's existence. The United States had discovered trace evidence and pressured Japanese officials into spilling the beans, under threat that they would be handed over to Soviet officials for trial and punishment if they did not cooperate. Once the US learned the full extent of the horrors of Unit 731, all of those involved were swiftly brought to trial and executed for their crimes. Except, no.
No, we're not executing anybody. Y'all are about to be tortured the same way you tortured these people. Like, I am fully for, like, not playing God and letting, you know, but there are exceptions to the rule, and this says no, meaning that didn't actually happen. Okay, please let's just piss Britt off a little bit more.
They actually weren't. In reality, the United States claimed that the data collected from the inhumane atrocities was actually pretty valuable, since it is otherwise ethically unobtainable through conventional means.
Cupping the
As
balls
such,
and
many of
cinnamon
those
challenge.
involved were granted immunity and freedom in exchange for the data.
That's
the deal was
insane.
struck, and the United States kept everything under lock and key. The Soviet Union, however,
Shame.
pursued trials against the
Shame
top
on
military
us.
leaders and scientists from Unit 731. In the end, only 12 individuals were tried and sentenced to several years in labor camps,
Good.
although the United States repeatedly denied that Unit 731 ever existed. Oh, that was a bummer. Here's something to cheer you up. I'll see you over there.
Part 2 is meant to part 2, and also real evil human experience that will make you lose faith in humanity. Oh, jolly. Saint Nick over there. Chat history. Humans, we can just be really awful sometimes. That was really disturbing and broke my heart. I hope you're happy. Shout out to Chat History for doing the work, because that's hard work. It couldn't be me. All right, y'all, talk to me in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on this or not. Let's just pray and go and have the day you deserve. Bye.